leave it up to you guys.
Alrighty.
All right.
Very nice to meet you, Jonathan.
Hi, I can hear you.
Oh, fantastic, fantastic. Okay, so what do you want to play today?
Liszt's Transcendental Etude, 9.
Okay.
Record
Number what?
9.
Oh, okay. Got it. That piece is quite long. Do you want to play the whole thing, or do you want to play a portion of it?
I can play up to a certain section, yeah. And stop there.
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
It'll be up to you. I tend to be a little bit nitpicky, so we may not be able to cover the entire piece. I'm just telling you first. Okay, so
yeah,
sure. play as much as you want.
And okay, I'll stop at a section.
Okay, fantastic. Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, okay. I think, I mean, technically speaking, you have no troubles with this piece, right? And I think this Transcendental Etude is not exactly like the other ones, right? It's so much more heartfelt, you know, it's so loving, right? And it's almost like Liszt is really, is delicately pouring his heart out for maybe the love of his life, or maybe just another girl he wants to swoon, right? So I think that's the prevailing thing, right? Now we need to do a little bit of sort of score study at this point, right? Now Liszt, especially in this period, Liszt writes a lot of directions, right? And we can tell a lot by his writing too, right? Now he writes this as andantino, right? A little bit slower than walking speed, let's say, right? Like a little walking speed, right? So we know it's fairly forward, right? The other thing is it's 6/4, right? It's not necessarily 6/8. So it's not necessarily like a danceable thing, right? So now just from those two hints, we know that it's always going to feel like it's moving forward. Two, it's not really a dance, right? So we could really just looking by the first phrase, right? I think it's very much like you're speaking, right? Maybe you're not speaking to someone. Maybe you're speaking to yourself, or you're speaking to your heart, right? So I think the first thing we need to do is we need to really conceive of how far how far our voice extends to, right? So you have right? We're going from here to here, right? That's our first sort of sweep. So if we take too much time here, then we're kind of lessening this sort of opening up of a cabinet, right? Imagine you're about to go out to party, right? And you need a fresh pair of beautiful clothes like you do, right? And you open your closet, right? And already your mind is so happy, right? You're excited, so you do this, right? But what if you were to open it like this, right? It's not as natural. And I think this first thing is not, it's not to say that what you did was like bad or anything, right? But I think this is one whole sweep. Right? It should be one sort of motion up, right? And then right? So it's actually and this is very Lisztian actually, right? He has this sort of very mysterious, sort of very sort of ominous beginning before something not glamorous, but something, you know, completely magical and almost spiritual in a way. It's so beautiful, right? So I think in the very beginning, we need to think that it's still moving forward. When we get here, and then we keep going to here. And then this changes color. What's that note? Yeah. Okay. Can we try it
Sure.
from the beginning? Just a little bit more forward. Okay, good. Yeah, just a tiny thing. When we have this, we have two notes in between that are not exactly part of the da 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 da, right? Right? So if we were to take this rhythm very strictly, right? We have a triplet, and then two notes, and then triplet, right? So I want a little bit more of a difference between it, right? So that it's not just right, because then it's kind of like it's kind of like we we have a little bit of like imagine if I'm a magician, right, and I have a wand, right, and instead of doing this, alakazam, right? I kind of do this, right? So like I want this to be a little bit more of a sort of that. Wow, right? So maybe the entire, it's still one motion, but the dip is a little bit more of this sort of spinning before it goes up. So right? And again, go to the long notes. The long notes are our destination. Ya, ya da da ya da 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 dee, da dee. Okay, can we try one more time? Okay, that's a little bit better. I still feel a little bit of a clunkiness to it, and I think it's because you wait a little bit too long for this. Right. I think this should move quite right. Give us the direction. Right. Instead of stop, right? Because then you're you're demarcating it rather than something. It's almost as if you've had a little bit too much to drink, right? And you're kind of just a little bit lazy, right? And you're hazy, but you're comfortable, right? There's nobody around. You're just, you're kind of dancing with yourself. Okay, one more time. Go on. Very good. Okay. All right. So what's the difference between this part versus
Major
what's
to
the
minor?
difference between these two? Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. It could be major and minor. I want you to think of it as a feeling, right? This is a little bit more open, right? You're reaching, right? You're hopeful for something, but this is disappointment, right? This is disappointment, right? And that's why Liszt writes a big crescendo to here, right? And then nothing really here. And then, right? And actually, he builds up to something, right? Because we're so soft, right? In this deceptive cadence. But wait. Right? So it's kind of that like but wait, right? There's more. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So why don't we try from the espressivo here? Okay, good. Okay, fantastic, Jonathan. Now we need to think about, okay, because in this entire piece, there's a lot of there's a lot of cadenzas like this, right? There's a lot of right, and it's just a lot of these things, right? So if we take so much time every time that we go up and then down, it's always going to feel like, oh man, there's another one, there's another one, another one, another one, right? So I want you to think of it this way, right? When we have that, but more, there's wait, there's more, this thing, right? This is our first flourish. I would probably start a little bit softer. Sorry. And really kind of go all the way to this B. And then this is probably not that loud, right? So we have a progression from this to this to this, right? So in a sense, I don't want you to go all the way to this note, but I want you to, right? And then keep it going, moving forward. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Sorry. And then from here, this you can go a little bit more forward too, right? The first one we were saying, okay, it doesn't have to be so loud, it doesn't have to be so quick, right? So then we can make that contrast because now we have more feathery stuff up here. Okay, can we try that? Just to make a little distinction between this cadenza, right? Because this ultimately ends in again, disappointment. This starts disappointing, but it goes even further, right? And it ends in sort of, right? Then it kind of starts in hope, right? It ends in hope rather than hopelessness, okay? Can we try right from here? Beautiful. Yeah, beautiful. Okay, I think from my end, it sounds much more natural because we didn't think of these runs as mere, okay, I need to play this fast, I need to play this slow, right? Rather, we thought in terms of character, right? This run started from a place of intrigue, led to hopelessness. Then the next run started from a point of that hopelessness into hope. And then from here, right? This is excitement, building, 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 right? Up until this grand gesture, right? And then more notes, and then and now we're in flats. Okay, so here, why don't we? Because I think you know what to do with these runs. I want to hear a little bit of the theme, okay? Because I think there's a very interesting. I think Liszt wrote this theme very interestingly. It's not on the downbeat, right? We start really on just this. Sorry, right? So we have this sort of. It's a very flowing thing, right? But we start in the middle, we interrupt it. Right? And just a tiny thing, every time you do this, right? If you go really too early on this thing, we never hear this. Right? We need to hear the end of that phrase. Right? This is part of the end. It's not part of the beginning of the next. So, okay? But yeah, I want to hear a little bit more of that sort of whimsical interruption. Right? So I would probably like make sure that the pedal is kind of open. No, sorry, it's clean before that. And then same thing, right? So that we hear that there is a space. Okay, so maybe from here. Okay, beautiful. Okay, now because we have a new space inside, we need to be even critical, right? We have to be more critical of the left hand, right? Your left hand has to, right? And really this, now actually, see, I defend my point. Liszt knew what he was doing, right? Liszt is a genius here, right? Why did he not write a chord here, right? Why did he only break this one? Because he wanted the ear to always listen to that. So in a sense, you hear a roll, this, rather than just silence this, right? So I'd rather you feel that this left hand goes towards this note. That. Now the last time, because he goes even further, you can have a demarcation. Right? And that's that sort of it's the point in the phrase where it turns, right? This is all going in one direction. But then this note, right? That goes into a completely different, magical new world, right? So I want you to try that one more time from here. Right? And be very conscious of how this left hand moves. Takes all the energy and swishes it to the right hand. Much better, much better, much better. Just remember this. Don't rush the end of it, right? Right? You have so much time, right? And he writes basically to relax here, right? Right? There's no excitement here. It's just, right? You're in a boat and your hand is out in the water and you're feeling the surface of the water, right? It's effortless. A lot of this is completely effortless, right? I don't want you to think that you need, right? It's not something that you need to, like strike a flame and then burn something, right? So I want you to feel completely effortless, to the point that when we're at the next phrase, right? Now we're even more breathless, right? To be a little bit more expressive. One more time and I won't stop you. And we'll go a little bit further. Okay, beautiful. Okay, I know we're running out of time, and I would love to hear more of it, but I'll leave you with this one tip of advice. Okay, when we play romantic pieces, right? Liszt, Chopin, Schumann, Brahms, all these things, right? Now we're always constantly told rubato, right? Now, rubato essentially means, flexibility, right? But it also kind of, I think the literal, the literal translation of rubato is to rob, right? To steal, right? But in this case, we steal time, right? So we take time away from here, but as, good Samaritans, good citizens, we have to put it back, right? So whatever you do here, we have to realize if you're stretching this phrase, you'll have to eventually speed things up so that we're back on track, right? Because if you keep taking and keep taking and keep taking and keep taking, well, then you're just a bad person. All right, okay? And that basically means it's gonna drag and drag and drag, okay? So I want you to always remember this is in a it's in 6/4, right? So that means it's always gonna feel like there's like a wheel. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? That it's always moving forward, right? And it's in andantino, right? So there's always a forwardness to it. So you can definitely take as much time as you need for these things, right? And but I'm just saying sometimes, like when we got to the top, this is actually all the same thing, right? It's just down an octave. So there's nothing more to be said thematically, right? So this is a good chance for us to, okay, now let's keep moving again, right? So that we can take time somewhere else, right? And then put it back somewhere else, right? And I think that's gonna help pace this piece a little bit better, right? Because my first impression was, okay, yeah, he has really good technique, and he can play all these runs, great, right? But then what was the next layer? I couldn't really remember the next layer after that, right? And in order to, really affect people in the second layer, we need to keep in mind phrasing and how the story unfurls, right? And half of that is how we pace this piece, right? Like, where do we take time and where do we put it back, right? And then there's this age-old saying that if you smelled all the flowers on your way home, you would never get home, right? Because there's just way too many flowers, right? So we need to pick which ones are the most beautiful, the ones that will make you stop in your tracks just to smell it, right? Okay? It was a pleasure listening to you. I'm sorry we're out of time, but I look forward to hearing you again. Okay? Thanks
Thank you
much.
so much.